Hi guys, it's Graham aka VSG Graham. Finally home from the hospital. I came home Saturday, so I spent 5 whole days in there. Um, I just can't believe how easy it was. I'll go through everything else in a minute, but first of all, I want to say a big thanks to everybody for all the support that I've received. There's too many names to mention, and it seen me through. To be honest with you, apart from my family's love, um, you're my other family. You're my YouTube family, and I really want to thank you for the bottom of my heart for that. Um, when I've looked at videos and uh, tried to look for information, I've always found it, and I found it to be truthful. Um, the one thing that I would say to people my size, because people my size will probably spend a longer time in the hospital, or if you're a smaller size and you do look to spend longer in hospital than 2 days. The one thing that I didn't plan for was homesickness. Now, you've got to understand that I've lived my life as a recluse, as I've said many times before, um, and I have got a set routine day in, day out. It's a bit OCD. If I if you ask me what I'm doing at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I'll be able to tell you where I am exactly and what I'll be doing exactly. Um, and I was taken out of that my own comfort zone, and I knew I was going to be away in hospital, but I didn't realise how much homesick I would be, and it was true that it hits you. Jesus, why did I put myself in danger like that? Um, and I expected that, and I quickly dealt with that because I thought to myself, well, if I just left myself the way I was and never did had the operation, then as I died, I got very ill. So that answers that. But my God, I've never been homesick like it, and you can more or less see my house from the hospital. That's how close I am. So I can imagine how it must feel for people who are 3 hours away who come to the have to come to the hospital. So just prepare yourself for that. Maybe bring in some home comforts and um, you know bring in your iPod or whatever iPad, whatever to see you through. Well, anyway, both operations went fine. I went in on the morning of the operation. Um, I had cellulitis the week before, and my belly was pretty swollen. It took 3.5 hours for the um, apronectomy, and apparently they taken off something like 45 kilograms. It wasn't as heavy as expected. However, that's still a lot. That's something like £100. So for last week, I'm the biggest loser. um, also, so that was 3.5 hours for that, and I had the sleeve done straight after, and I think that took 3 hours, so it was 6.5 hours total. I know because they give you a copy of a letter they sent to my GP stating the facts of the operation, what medication I'm on now, and all the rest of it, all the details. And it looked as if there was something like 4 or 5 surgeons working on me, and other, registrars, and I know there was a total of 8 people on the surgeon side, and then there was anaesthetists. There was 3 of them, and a whole other bunch of people. But when I was in that operating theatre, I could tell there was a lot of people there, and I kind of settled me down because I knew that all the people were there, and I knew a few of them, and I could tell I was going to be well looked after. There was 3 people in this arm, there was 3 people in the other arm, there was 3 people in my leg, 3 people at the bottom of the table. You know what I mean? It was like a graveside, but everything went fine. Before I went into hospital, I prepared myself for pain. I thought to myself, well, what's the worst pain I've ever had? And I've got to say that what do you call them on your tooth? An infection or boil. That is the worst pain I've ever had. And I thought, if I imagine that's how bad it's going to be, I can deal with it. But I've got to say, on the scar for my apronectomy, I had not one ounce of pain, not one. It was pain free. On the sleeve, it's just like everybody says, it feels like you've done a few too many stomach crunches, and it's not as sore as a pulled muscle. That's how I seen it. It wasn't as sore as that. I wasn't like, oh god. It wasn't as bad as that. The worst thing for me, apart from the homesickness, was the dry mouth. And I cheated when they says, just dab your mouth with a sponge. I was, when they turned their back, I was dipping it in there and I was sucking that sponge like I couldn't believe, and I was like, oh my god, it's heaven. And then when they put me onto the ward after 2 days, I was in intensive care for 2 days, and the care and the intensive care is unbelievable. There was somebody sitting at the bottom of my bed 24/7 a day. And then when I was moved to the ward, I seen this jug of water sitting by my bedside, and all I wanted to do was shove my face in that bucket of water, that jug of water, or pour it over my head. I just felt that dry. It was like a camel. That's how I felt. Yeah, all went well. I was 5 days in hospital, 2 days in the ICU, and 3 days in the ward. While I was in the ward, they had to close it off and segregate us because there was an outbreak of sickness and diarrhea, some sort of virus going around. Trust me, I'd be the one that goes into the sick ward. And there was this old boy across the way. He was a really lovely guy, but he had really bad diarrhea through the night and he had to sit on the commode in the same room. There was six years in this ward. My god, it was horrible. And as I say, I done the homesickness thing on my final night, on Friday night. I was like, oh my god, I was so low. So I just say to anybody who's living a reclusive life, just prepare for that, and bring your home comforts in. And you have to give yourself to the system. Go to one appointment at a time, and don't look at the big picture. Just wait and just do whatever they say, one appointment at a time. Because if you think, oh, I have to do 10 appointments or 20 appointments or whatever many, you're going to put yourself off. But believe me, it's worth it. Yeah, I had 5 days in the hospital where I had absolutely no food whatsoever. It was just drinking water and orange juice, and then they put me on this syrupy stuff. I had one bottle of that. It was disgusting. Now what else did I tell you? Oh, do you know? I want to say this because nobody else mentions this. you do have to wear a catheter. And I've never heard anybody mention that before. And that kind of worried me. I was worried about the pain of that. And it's like when you don't feel it going in, because well, they put me to sleep first before they put mine in. But taking it out, at a wee point it nipped. Well, I say nipped, it was like peeing a hedgehog. It was sore. But, you know, you've got to see the big picture. You know, I would rather have that than walking to the toilet with half my stomach just being stapled up. So there's that. What else is there to talk about? I can't even remember. All I would suggest to anybody having their operation or going to start this journey is you've got to think of your life. The people who sit at home and live as a recluse like I did for 15 years, you can't give yourself, hide yourself in the dark any longer. You've got to have to realise that people who say things or make nasty comments or stare, they don't matter to you. You'll never see them again. It doesn't matter. I don't give a crap now. I don't give a shit of what people think. I just gave myself the system. I done one appointment at a time. I dealt with it how I could at the time, and I got through it one step at a time. And I can't believe it's done now. All that hard work pays off, and then so just take one step at a time. And anybody who isn't, watching these videos and is in the dark and doesn't want to come out and a bit shy and about the size that you are, etc., email me. I'll give you as much support as I can, and that's all I can say. If you've got any questions, let me know and I'll answer them. But if one person would let me know that they've started the journey because of my videos, I would be extremely happy. You've just got to be brave and take that first step. So that's it for me for now, guys, and I'll let you know the weight and all that, because when I went and got weighed before the surgery, it says 292 kilograms. Now, I spent 2 weeks on the milk only diet and I was peeing like a mule, and before the milk diet I was 293.3, I think it was. So there's no way in this earth I only lost 1.3 kilograms in the space of 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So I think it was either a build up of the water and the cellulitis or the scales were wrong. So I'm hoping to get my 6-week appointment, well, 5 weeks now appointment, to go and see my surgeon. I've already spoke to the nurse who organised it on, and she's got to try and meet me on that day as well, so I can get weighed then. And I'll be able to know exactly what weight I am. Saying that, I'm going in to see my surgeon tomorrow as well. He sent through like an urgent appointment because he wants to make sure there's no infections in my wound. I've got a 28.5-inch scar, but hey, I have not got an apron anymore. And I'll show you the scar and I'll show you the incisions, but I have not got an apron anymore. And when I walked up the stairs, I thought, oh my god, this has got to be a nightmare because of the stitches and the pins and all the rest of it. But I felt as if I was walking on pillows. It was absolutely fantastic. So already an NSV. So take care, guys. I'll speak to you again soon. Bye bye.